Streaming stations around the world. Radio.co.
Hi, this is James Mulvaney. Welcome along to this presentation about how you can use Radio.co to stream an existing terrestrial radio station. If you've got an AM or FM radio and you want to put it on the internet, you can use our platform to do that. But you can also use our platform to give your station an edge and to give you a lot more flexibility perhaps than you have with your current setup, which I'm going to talk throughout the duration of this presentation. So, this is how your radio station might look now. You'll traditionally have an on-air studio, which is probably going to consist of a desk, some microphones, maybe some analog input equipment like CD players, and also a playout computer as well, which will handle the automation of your station. Okay, so you'll have a big music library stored on this, you'll have DJs who use this for live assist, and you'll also use this to continue playing out audio when there's no one around, e.g. overnight. Now, that's absolutely fine, and do you know what? You can use Radio.co without changing any of this. You can keep your current setup. Normally your output is going to be streamed off, or transmitted rather, via a transmitter, via a mast somewhere. This might be on your site, it might be somewhere up on the side of a hill, doesn't really matter. Point is, you've got the feed going from your studio out to the world or the local area via a radio transmitter. Now, Radio.co can act exactly the same as your terrestrial radio transmitter in that you can send us a feed, which will be via the internet, and all you have to do in order to do this is install a bit of software that basically has access to the audio output of your desk, and what it does is it encodes that audio output, sends it across the internet, and then we handle the distribution. So we act a bit like a transmitter does in a conventional radio setup. The cool thing about this is, as I say, you can still keep using your playout software, you can still keep using your hardware, whatever microphones, processing you have set up. All we're doing really is taking the feed, you send us a signal via the internet, and we handle the load of your listeners, just like the mast would do in a traditional analog radio setup. So really there's three different ways or three modes of operation that you can use Radio.co when we're talking about keeping an existing FM setup going. Firstly, you can just use us for your live stream. Now, Radio.co is in itself a radio automation system, because you can upload files to it, you can schedule them to go out at different times of the day, create playlists, etc., etc., just like you would do in your radio automation software that you've probably got running inside your studio. Don't worry about that. If you want to keep using your radio automation software, you can do that. Doesn't matter the brand, doesn't matter if it's Windows-based, Linux, or even Mac. Anything you've got, you can keep. And you can keep your station running 24 hours a day using your current software. But what you're going to be doing is just sending us a live stream, and our cloud platform will handle the internet streaming. So you don't need to worry about any of the technicalities of running servers or the cloud or anything like that, because our engineers do all of that stuff for you. And your current setup, whether you've got scheduling software, automation software, or both of them running in tandem, that carries on going as it was. Here's the benefits to you. Why use us in this kind of mode? Firstly, our streaming platform isn't just one server. If you've ever used streaming providers before with things like Shoutcast, generally speaking, they're just a single server, which means if that server goes down or the data center goes down, basically means your station is off air. No one can tune in online anymore. Well, with Radio.co, you're actually getting access to a network of multiple servers. Each client has a streaming pool. Now, this isn't just one server, it's multiple servers, not only in different data centers, but in physically different locations. So, means that, let's say, one of the data centers goes down, your traffic is just rerouted to a different server in a different location. We also provide the best stats in the industry. We track who listens, how they're listening, if they're listening on a mobile device or a desktop, or something like a home entertainment system, Sonos, Bose, etc. And we also look at how long they've listened for. And all of this is presented to you in lots of nice, easy to understand graphs. We're not giving you like raw log data or anything like that. It's nice and easy to understand. So you can go on straight away at a glimpse. You can see how many people have tuned into you and how they've been listening to you. We also provide native iOS and Android mobile apps out of the box, plus customizable web players as standard. So you can use Radio.co to stream your station. you can keep all of your current setup, all of your current in-house software, everything like that, and you can just use us in live-only mode. And if you need help getting this set up, or if you're not sure exactly, maybe you've signed up for a trial and you're thinking, well, I have to upload media to get started, don't worry about it. Our team are here to help. We'll happily talk you through how to use us in live-only mode. We've got lots of FM, AM-style stations that use us just to do this, just to handle the streaming and nothing else. But you can also use us to do everything I've just mentioned, but with a backup. Okay, so this obviously needs that you're going to send us a 24-hour-a-day stream, encoded stream from your studio, and let's say your internet connection goes down. Well, you can actually, obviously we can't help you with, if there was like a power cut at your station and your FM signal goes down, but what we can do is we can have backup files which we'll host for you that will only ever get played out if your connection to us goes. So this means that something's always going to be on air, or at least on your internet stream. So let's say there's a power cut, perhaps your station is in a rural area, and maybe, the power can be a little bit intermittent at times. Well, you can put together a playlist, or it could be a pre-recorded show, or it could just be a bunch of music with sweepers in between. Schedule this as a backup feed, and listeners will always stay connected. So let's say your station goes completely down. Power's gone, station's gone, desk's gone, everything. Well, people will still be able to tune in online and hear whatever you've scheduled. All right, so the third mode of operation you could use Radio.co for is automated with live. And what I mean by this is we take care of your radio automation. So you can use our cloud platform to handle the play out of your pre-recorded content, or your just music. When there's no one there, you just want music, sweepers, adverts, etc. What this allows you to do is really free up your studio. So when you're not necessarily using it for a live broadcast, and you can still use it for a live broadcast, let's say you want to have your breakfast show live every day, that's fine. You keep your studio, you connect to us for the 3-hour period in the morning when the breakfast jock is on air, and when he or she is finished, our system will cut back to whatever playlists or whatever pre-records you've scheduled, okay? This is kind of like a weird concept to get your head around, but I'll show you a little diagram in a bit. But basically this means you can upload individual tracks, or you can create playlists, and you can also schedule entire full-length pre-recorded shows. We've used this for one of our side projects called MCR Live. We have a combination of live talent in the on-air studio and also lots and lots of pre-recorded stuff. But to our listeners, they don't know any different. It still sounds like a live radio station. If they're expecting a show to start at 4 p.m. in the afternoon, and it's 2 hours and it's been pre-recorded, it goes off at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, they really don't know any difference. Plus, as I mentioned before, you get access to all the great stuff that comes by using a cloud-based system, multiple servers for your streaming in different countries. So if one goes down, listeners automatically just get redirected to another one. We also track listeners, how they've listened. Every single listener that actually tunes into your station online, will analyse them and look at how they've been listening, etc. Plus, all of our systems are based in the cloud. We use Amazon plus multiple other providers to ensure high availability and massive scalability. We've got stations running from a few hundred listeners to tens of thousands of listeners in a single day. So also, the great thing about this is you free up a lot of your engineers' time to do more cool things with your station. They're not constantly trying to eliminate technical headaches with your current streaming setup, configure servers or anything like that. We do all of our hard stuff for you, and it gives you more time with your engineer to do other stuff which is more important to you. So let me just explain how this kind of third setup might look with Radio.co. So as you can see, you've still got your on-air studio, you've still got your playout software if you've got something that you prefer to use, plus any other sort of analog input devices like mics or CD players, etc. You send out the broadcast to the Radio.co cloud platform, and obviously we have our 100% uptime streaming cloud as part of this, to which you redirect a feed from our platform to the AM, FM or DAB transmitter. So effectively you have a PC sat there which is listening to the online stream 24/7 and then routing that out through your audio processing to the transmitter. Now let's say everything's online here and it's all looking good, Your listeners can tune in online, but they can also listen via your analog or terrestrial transmitter. But let's say for whatever reason the on-air studio goes down. Well, you'll notice your feed still stays online because obviously you have access to our cloud platform, and transmitter's feed will still be pulled from us, and therefore, it's great because it means whatever's on air will just kind of fade out and you'll just go back to whatever is a backup playlist. But it means you can do other things as well. You can broadcast easily from anywhere. Outside broadcasts are no longer a chore. All you really need is a laptop with a bit of software installed and an internet connection. You can broadcast from sporting events, you can do news. Again, if there's any problems here, let's say your internet connection at an event goes down, well, it doesn't matter because Radio.co just takes back over. This is the beauty of using a cloud-based system. You can also use it for doing things like DJ sets live from nightclubs or bars. Again, let's say you've got a show on air and it finishes at 7, well, you can cut right across to the DJ in a bar without any kind of like downtime, without any weird stuff, and with very minimal technical engineering required. Like, this is basically something that anyone can set up with very minimal training. So it's not like you need to go and have a big outside broadcast van or anything like that, or satellite links. This is just done via the internet. This is something that anybody who's used a computer can set up. So let's chat. If you perhaps think some of these things could be useful to you, or if you just want to use us as a live streaming solution, we're here to help you, and we'll happily talk to you specifically about what works for your station, not just a generic solution that, one size fits all. We're kind of happy to help and sit down and talk about your specific requirements. So drop us an email, studio@radio.co. We've got sales guys, so maybe you'll be speaking to David and he'll happily walk you through the product, talk to you more about your requirements. Thanks very much for listening to this presentation. My name's James Mulvaney and I'm founder and CEO of Radio.co. Look forward to speaking to you again very soon. Bye-bye.
Radio.co